once you've got the transformation, the milestones, the strategies, the tools and the templates, you then decide, how do I want to deliver this? Do I want to do it as a course? Do I want to do it one-on-one with people? Do I want to do it in a big group? So that's what makes up a business advisory offering. It sounds like a lot, but actually, when you've worked this out, you have a 3-year plan. So I have clients that come to me and they're like, I don't know what to do. And then 2 months later, they're like, I'm so excited. I've got all the answers for everybody. Give me clients.
You're listening to the Bookkeepers podcast, sponsored by Xero.
I use Xero's accounting and bookkeeping software to manage my clients' accounts, and I love it. If you haven't tried it yet, head over to xero.com with an X, and you can either start a free 30-day trial or sign up to Xero's partner program to join their amazing community of forward-thinking accountants and bookkeepers.
Hi, and welcome to the Bookkeepers podcast. I'm Zoe Whitman. I'm here with Jo Wood, and we're joined by Amanda C. Watts today. Hi, Amanda. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me. It's been ages since we've all hung out together, so it's good to be back.
It's so nice to speak to you. And when you suggested we have a chat about advisory services, we were absolutely, it's such a hot topic with bookkeepers at the moment. How do we offer an advisory service? Are we allowed? And so we've got lots to explore. But I wonder if you can start, Amanda, by telling us a bit about your background and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name, Amanda C. Watts, and I specialize in helping bookkeepers and accountants, but bookkeepers, to take all of their experience, their education, their personality. Like that, I think that the profession completely underestimates how important personality is. And I combine those three things and create an advisory offering. And what we have done over the past couple of years is we've launched the Business Advisor Academy, and we certify bookkeepers and accountants to become certified professional business advisors. And we give them the confidence, the clarity, and the skills and the tools to be able to go out and do that. And it's transformational for my clients. It's transformational for my clients' clients. And it's fun. It's amazing. It's fun and great fun. And it's awesome. That's what I do.
Amazing. So first of all, let's clear up the difference between being a financial advisor and a business advisor, because we get asked this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not allowed to give financial advice. Why are you saying that I should move into advisory? Can you clear that up for us?
Yeah, 100%. So financial advisor has to be regulated. You have to be able to say, hey, here is a mortgage, here is a pension, here is an investment thing, and you've got to be able to do it and be regulated and be compliant as a financial advisor. That's nothing to do with business advisory. When your bookkeepers are thinking about business advisory, I want them to change the word advisory, because, by the way, you don't give advice. That's just a whole nother conversation we'll have in a minute. But change the word advisory to coach, mentor, strategist, listener, educator, any of those words. Business advisory is what people like myself have scared the profession with by using that language. And actually, advisory isn't what you do, but that's the word that everybody has used, therefore I use it. But yes, no, it is nothing to do with being a financial advisor. Please don't worry about it. We're not asking you to go down the route of giving advice around financial advisory. But we are asking you to care about the person in front of you and help lead them and help them get clarity. And that's what being a business advisor is. It's about the person that you're working with, not actually about numbers. But that's, again, another whole conversation.
I think that's really helpful to think about, because actually most bookkeepers are doing this because they really care. Like the amount, the people who were stressed out for their clients, and as much as we say, like, this isn't your stress, it's probably your client's stress, but we do take it on because we want to help sort everything out. So seeing that as, I'm here to support them and this is how I'm going to do it, is really helpful. Can you talk to us about, you mentioned words like coach and strategist, and I feel like we're then going to get some pushback on, well, I'm not a coach and I'm not a strategist. So what does that mean?
So the biggest problem that business owners have is they have no one to listen to them, no one to confide in, and no one to be the person where they go, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I don't know what's going on. Like, that's the biggest problem. I'm sure, like, when you guys first started doing the bookkeeper stuff, that you were like, oh, I feel alone. And what did you do? You sought out somebody that you could talk to, that you could share your ideas with, and that you could just kind of riff with them. And what we need to understand is that business advisory is actually actually about listening, and it's about asking the right questions. That's it. And there's a lot of business advisory tools out there, and the apps aren't going to love me very much right now, but that I'm not going to name names because they won't love me. But the business advisory tools actually confuse and scare a lot of the bookkeepers and accountants, because it's like, wow, I've got to educate people around the numbers. But actually what you've got to do is sit and be present with the person in front of you and say, hey, what are your goals this year? And they'll go, nobody's ever asked me that question. I don't know what my goals are. And they'll go, right, okay, so let's sit down and let's have a look at what your goals could be. Now, the problem that bookkeepers have when it comes to being able to do this is they have always been behind the scenes. And it can be really nerve-wracking to actually go, hey, I'm going to ask you some questions, because normally when you do bookkeeping, 1 + 2 = 3. When you do business advisory, 1 + 2 equals, what would you like it to be? Okay, so it's really scary, right? So the skills of actually being a business advisor is not around the numbers, because you've got that anyway as a bookkeeper. It's actually communication skills. It's listening skills. It's about being able to read people and build rapport. And it's actually a whole different way of approaching having conversations with your clients. And the work that I truly believe that needs doing for business advisors is actually working on the person, so the business advisor, and working on them rather than working on their numeracy skills, because they've got that bit, right?
Yeah. I was just thinking about this, about likening it to the parenting journey. So I'll bring you with me on this journey. But when we have toddlers, we need to give them boundaries. And there's very clear, yes, you can do that. No, you can't do that. And I've noticed that having teenagers and young adults, that my role as a parent has stopped and moved from there's black and white answers to everything. And now I have to be more of that advisor and more of the coach and strategist. And rather than pretending because I don't have all the answers, but asking the questions, well, what do you think about that? Something a parenting coach helped me once with said, don't tell your teenager what time they need to be home. Say to them, what time do you think is a good time to come home? And they'll always say a time a bit earlier than you was expecting them to say. And I've tested this model out. So I think this is what we're moving from, whereas we've trained to be the debit and credit and the penny reconciler and having the exact answer. And we're now moving into, we don't have the answers, but what we do have is the questions and the space for you to be you. So I'm hoping that's how I've just gone through that.
That's it exactly. And being able to sit in front of someone and go, hey, let's have a look at what your goals are and what do you think you should work on first. So you, as the business advisor, could spend the next 3 years working with someone and not once tell them what to do. They can come up with their own answers. All we've got to do is hold that space in a safe environment and be genuinely interested. Like, you have to be genuine. So I don't want to work with someone that says, oh, I want to do business advisory because I can make more money. That's not what this is about. It's, I want to work with businesses and be a business advisor because I want to help the person in front of me. I want to help them transform their lives. And also the knock-on effect of that is you then transform the economy, right? So we know that the majority of businesses go out of business within the first 5 years. I'm going to get preachy for a second. Forgive me. Okay. If business coaches, traditional business coaches, were doing their job, this would not happen. That means that there is something missing, something fundamental missing in the world to enable businesses to succeed. And I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe it is the quiet numbers people that have all the answers, that don't necessarily have the confidence to step up to who they need to be, that can save these business owners. And I'm on my mission, and you guys are on your mission, to actually get the bookkeepers out there and help them change these business owners' lives. Now, if we can stop these businesses from going under as a business advisor, then what happens is our economy gets better, right? And if our economy gets better, then our children's lives are going to get better. And if our children's lives get better, then we have truly changed the world. All right. So we think, oh, we're going out and we're going to have to advise these businesses. Actually, you're working with a person to change their life and then your children's lives and their children's lives, and knock on effect. And business coaches are great. They do their bit, but the majority of them don't get to save the businesses. Whereas bookkeepers and accountants can save businesses because they got that little bit of magic. They understand the numbers.
Yeah, I like to think that when we're talking about an advisory service, the numbers are a given. Like, I'm almost like blasé, oh yeah, of course I'll sort that out. That's fine. Of course that has to happen. But when you work with me, we do this. So what do you class as advisory service? If we were thinking about what is an offer here, what are you including in that?
Okay, so there's two questions. I'll answer the first one, which is what do we class as advisory? And I would say that advisory is everything outside of compliance, which sounds like such a simple answer, but people are like, what's advisory? So if you aren't helping someone with payroll, paying their VAT, reconciling the accounts, making sure that their banking feed is working in zero, all that stuff, that classes as compliance, making sure they can pay their VAT, yada, yada. The moment a client comes to you and says, what do you think about this? What do you think about the fact that I can't afford to pay my VAT at the moment? That starts to become advisory. Okay. Then you've got the person like me. I put my life out for the whole world to see. And I go, oh, I want to pay off my mortgage in 5 years. So I speak to my bookkeeper and I say, hey, how do I pay off my mortgage in 5 years? What's the plan? What's working? Am I selling in my business? Give me some advice. Now, I'm quite lucky. I understand the numbers, having worked with you guys, but there are a lot of business owners that have no idea. And I've got a very close friend. Her husband owes £50,000 in VAT. How the hell does that happen? Who allowed that to happen, to owe so much money to the government? Well, is it his fault, or is it the fact that the bookkeeper and the accountant has been silent and watched this go on for months and months and years and years? All right. So it's the bookkeeper's job to go, this doesn't look right. Hey, let me help you. So yes, that answers the first one. Then you asked me what goes into a business advisory offering. Oh God, you could do business advisory and you could offer a business planning workshop. That's business advisory. And for those who are nervous about it, for the bookkeepers who are like, oh, could I do that? It's pretty simple nowadays. You go onto ChatGPT and say, how do I run a business planning workshop? And it'll spit it out for you, right? Okay. So that kind of stuff is not the magic. I don't mean to undervalue it, but that could be your first advisory offer. You could run a workshop, charge $500 for it, and you've made more money than you do when you charge for bookkeeping. And I saw you post actually, Zoe, about pricing, and I know that you're doing some training on pricing over the next 3 days. And actually, you're completely right, because if you charge £25 an hour, you are going to earn very small amount of money after you've taken out all of the holidays and things. Whereas if you offer £500 workshop for half a day, you actually get to keep all that £500. That's yours in your pocket. So a business advisory offering can be anything from a half-day workshop or even an hour's conversation. I sell my advice by the hour as well. So I have a way where people can pick my brains for an hour. But I also have a transformational program. And that is my favorite way to offer business advisory. So the first thing that you do is you look at the client in front of you. And as a bookkeeper, you say, right, where is your ideal client now? Where do they want to be? What's the transformation they want to have? Then when you've got clear on the transformation, you go, right, what are some key milestones that they have to work through over the next 12 to 36 months? Then after we've got the milestones, it's like, what strategies can I give them or find out, because you don't have to have all the answers, or what strategies can we come up with together to enable them to actually have this transformation? Then you say, right, what tools and templates do I need? Okay. Then you go, right, what personal skills do I need? So I'm really bad at communicating, for example, right? So you've got a bookkeeper that's like, actually, I don't want to be talking to people very much. So then you have to work on your communication skills. All right. You have to work on those, the soft skills that a lot of people who want to be behind the scenes don't necessarily want to work on, but you've got to if you want to offer business advisory. And then once you've got the transformation, the milestones, the strategies, the tools and the templates, you then decide, how do I want to deliver this? Do I want to do it as a course? Do I want to do it one-on-one with people? Do I want to do it in a big group? All that kind of thing. So that's what makes up a business advisory offering. It sounds like a lot, but actually, when you've worked this out, you have a 3-year plan. So I have clients that come to me and they're like, I don't know what to do. And then 2 months later, they're like, I'm so excited. I've got all the answers for everybody. Give me clients. Okay. And that's where you go really deep on the offer. So yeah, that's kind of what goes into a business advisor.
Hey, it's Zoe here. I just wanted to check in and see whether you have joined our free Facebook community yet. It's called the 6-Figure Bookkeepers Club. It's our free community on Facebook, and it's a great place to go and connect with other bookkeepers, ask questions and hear about best practice in the industry. Come and join us by going to 6figurebookkeeper.club. It will take you straight to the Facebook group, and we'd love to see you there.
It's you make it sound so simple, but it comes from this place of knowing that you don't have to know all the answers.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing you have to know.
Yeah.
That you haven't got to. You've just got to create this space. And we speak often about the fact that it's moving away from the transactional to the transformational. Yeah. And I think it feels like it's such a, like, who am I to think that I can transform but we don't understand and realize what we already have in our toolkit. And sometimes it is the fact that we're coming to this with that caring empathy, with the fact that we can hold a space and have a cup of tea with someone and sit at them and just allow them to talk, that we really truly care. And I think sometimes we think that because we've not done it before and that we've not been signed off and had a professional body tell us that we're allowed. I had this conversation this week. We was at an event and a lady came to me and she said, well, you're an accountant, I'm a bookkeeper, I can't offer it. And I said, no, I'm not, I'm a bookkeeper. Oh, but my husband said that I'm not allowed to do it because, and I said, no, I'm telling you, you can do this. But what if I said something and someone took my advice and they took it to a bank and then that didn't happen? And I said, no one is expecting anyone in a forecast to forecast with 100% accuracy. And that is, no one has ever said, a bank, like, you forecast it. That's the bank's job. That's their due diligence to say, okay, let's see, there's going to be some risk here. But they are, and this is the thing, bank business, bank managers used to sit in this space.
Yeah, right. Yeah. 100%.
They used to sit there. And they're not there anymore. And and I believe what you were saying earlier about the economy and failing business, that is a big gaping hole that has been created.
Huge gaping hole. And what I would say is, if people are nervous, then there tends to be a gap, right? So when you are scared, and you're fearful about something, it means you're lacking in clarity. So I've got a saying that's, when you're clear, it takes away the fear. So when you're clear, it takes away the fear. So what is it that is missing? Is it knowledge? Is it the skills? Is it the practice? Is it that you need to get some advisory clients and do it for free, give some advice for free, which a lot of people do. And it's not something that I love because it's such a valuable thing. But if it builds your confidence sells. So it doesn't matter how much someone goes, oh, I'm a business advisor. If they don't believe it, if they haven't sold it to themselves first, they're not going to be able to deliver advisory. But just to go back to what you said about they haven't done any exams and haven't been certified, that's why we launched the Business Advisor Academy. So we're CPD accredited. We've been through rigorous tests to work with accountants and bookkeepers so that we make them certified professional business advisors. And it's taken me 2 years to get to that stage. And we've been doing it now for about the past 4 months. We've had maybe 10 of our clients go through the certification. It takes up to 6 months to do it. But actually, it's just confidence building. And I'm not just saying even like the smaller firms. We've got firms that we work with that have partners that work in a £2 million euro firm, over 2 million. And he has great success as a partner just by getting the clarity, because when you have clarity, it takes away all that fear. And they're just scared because it's unknown. That's all. They're coming from a place of fear.
Yeah, I think that the sort of soft skills, the reason a lot of us become bookkeepers and accountants is because we like the data and the certainty and the process and the systems, but this bit is different, and it is a new, and I think actually this is going to be how the profession changes with AI. We're all going to be better communicators. There might be more focus on, I hope there'll be more focus on that. But we'll see. But there's definitely an opportunity for people who are thinking about this right now, because the rest of the profession isn't doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we have in the program is we've actually brought in a communication specialist that shows you how to read people. So she'll show you how you can, Zoe and Joe, do a disc profiling on someone just by how they're acting in front of you.
Wow.
Like, yeah, and so you don't have to complete, and that's what we're training our advisors to be able to do. And it's really interesting because I'm definitely a high D, very bossy. And yeah, it's really.
I don't know. I feel like we know. Surely not.
Yeah, no, I am, and it's fun because it means that I get great results. But also, those who are high S's and high I's come from a place of care and love, and I do come from that place. But I am also very bossy with it. But it's really interesting to be able to go. I'm training for the soft skills as well as being able to forecast and do cash flow budgeting and all that kind of thing. So it's a combination of skills, and you never, and I'll say this to your bookkeepers, you didn't know how to do bookkeeping before you started. So give yourself a break. You don't know how to do business advisory, so learn how to do it. Don't expect to just know. You guys didn't know how to run a coaching business, so you learn how to run a coaching business. You probably fell forward, same as me. Like I made so many mistakes when I first became a coach. Now I run a training business instead of a coaching business. But like we didn't become born knowing all this stuff. Give yourself a break, guys, and just go, what do I need to learn? And go and learn it. That would be my advice.
Have you, in terms of, you were talking earlier about people saying, oh, I'm just going to offer advisory services because I'm going to be able to charge more for them.
Yeah.
In your experience, what are people able to charge for advisory services?
Oh, that is $1 million question. And it all comes down to two things. One, the transformation that they give the client. And the transformation actually depends on who's the client and what's their pain points and how you can help them. Okay. And the second thing is confidence. So where I might charge £3,000 to do an hour's talk for somebody, then you've got somebody else who comes along and will do it for free. And the difference between the two of us might be a bit of experience, but mostly it's about what's our confidence and what can we say out loud and say that this is what we want to charge. My client, Joey, absolutely amazing lady, based in the US. She's just a bookkeeper. And I don't mean just a bookkeeper. I just want you guys who are listening to this, I know you're predominantly bookkeepers, and that you question whether or not you can do it. And the reason why I'm sharing with you, Joey, is because she is a bookkeeper. She's not an accountant. And she came to me and she had a great business. When I say great, I think she was on revenue of about 100K, so US dollars. And she had the opportunity to do a piece of work for a client. And she said to me, oh, Amanda, I don't know if I want to do it. It's going to be a lot of work. And I said, well, what would you charge? And she said, oh, about $30,000. And I said, okay, so if you did take it on, what would you want to really charge? And she just gave me a number. She said, oh, $120,000. And I went, right. Put that in then. Tell them it's $120,000 for the cleanup and then working with them for a year with business advisory. She'd never offered it before. She said, okay, I'll give it a go. Emailed them. 5 minutes later, came back. Yep, accepted the proposal. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
What do you do with that? What is it that made her go from 30,000 for the year to 120? She plucked a number and I said, go for it. And she went, all right then, because I don't want the job anyway. She got it. It changed her family's life overnight. Everything became accessible for her.
That's amazing.
How she felt about the work though as well. Like it was a job that she really didn't want. And then she saw that they valued her.
Yes, exactly.
It is. That value exchange is so important. I was chatting to a bookkeeper today and she said she just lost a client. She said they didn't value me. And I said, well, okay, so how do we change? And then when we started talking about it, she said, well, maybe I didn't do this. And I said, there's always a reflection somewhere of like what you would expect from that. And maybe as well, and there was a lack of communication. She said, I was doing all of this and they didn't appreciate it. I said, but that's not what they're focused on. And you haven't spoken to them and communicated with them. There has to be, we have to go into these roles as equals, as I am a professional, you're a professional, I have my skill set and I can help you with this. If somebody has a client base already, so we have a mixture, of course we have a mixture. We have startups, people like, I just want to learn, like you're talking to me about this, but I just want to do some bookkeeping first. I'm just qualified. Let me just get some bookkeeping done and undo that. And I'm like, you go on your own confidence journey, whatever that is. And like you said, if you need to do some stuff for free, if that's going to help you get to where you want to get to, do it. You need to contract for an accountant for 7 years like I did, do it. Do whatever you need to do to get you where you need to be. And we're all in our own personal journeys. If someone has a client base at the moment, and we speak about a gold standard service. If you were going to offer the best thing you can, and of course, there's going to be bookkeeping in there. There might be payroll in there. There might be VAT. There might be credit control. And then on top, there's this advisory. So I used to go in with this is the best thing that I can do for you. And I know this is going to transform. And sometimes people come to me and go, I love that. Yeah. At the moment, I just can't quite do it. And then I used to peel back. But what that did for me, and I'd love to know what you think, what that did for me is I sold the full thing on day one. They knew. And I think that's the biggest problem with us is we don't know how to upsell later. Yeah. Because we feel like, and this transformed my business. I went in and sold the best thing I could on day one. And then I allowed them to say, it wasn't right for them. And then I used to be able to add it in later. We could keep opening up that conversation. Yeah. Is that something you would suggest as well?
Yeah, 100%. So I am a big believer that if you chase two rabbits, you catch none. So if you go in and and there are a lot of pricing experts out there, and you guys are going to be speaking about pricing. So I don't want to undermine what you're about to say. But my opinion is if you have one product, one price, and one transformation and one ideal client, and you work that product and the client for a year, testing, adapting, getting feedback, you are more likely to have success than if you go in and go, oh, well, I could help you with this and I could help you with that. And we've got 3 tiers and we can charge $550, $850 or $150 or whatever it is. That is literally confusion and overwhelm for your ideal client. And it's confusion and overwhelm and complexity in your business as a bookkeeper. So simplify everything. Simple scales, complex fails. And if they don't want the full whole thing, you go, right, okay, so we're going to work together for 3 years. What we're going to do is just plan out the first 4 months together, and we're going to do A, B, C. At the end of that, we're then going to evaluate where we are, and let's have a look at where on this 3-year journey we then take the next step. So you can sell the first bit, but you sell it with the view that you're going to be working with them for 3 years at least. And I know every time I introduce another product into my repertoire, my revenue goes down, my complexity with marketing, my stress, everything becomes a pain in the butt when I have more than one product to sell. There you go. Does that help, Jo?
That absolutely. And that's exactly the same messaging, Amanda. So we're on the same page.
Okay, good. Cool.
We are very much like, what is it you want to earn in total? Yeah. And what's the best thing you can offer? How many clients can you manage? Let's figure this out. What does that one thing look like? Exactly. And of course, there's conversations along the way. But when you are having that one conversation with that one ideal client, that service, you become amazing. And it transformed my business having that. I sold the same thing to the same type of business, to the same type of client over and over again. Did they all have exactly the same at the end? No, I'm a grown-up. I can have a conversation. We can talk. Right. People are at different stages. But it helps. It helps simplify everything. And we've just done the same in our business. We now sell the Bookkeepers Collective. It's one offering because we were doing the same. We're creative people. We're like, oh, our community need this. Let's do that. And we're like, if we just had this one thing and everything we did just went in there. Yeah. Simples, isn't it? Like the meerkats.
And that's what I mean by creating a world-class offer, because you can't have 10 world-class offers. You can have one world-class offer. And for me, with the certification program, that's been running for a couple of years, but it's only been running for a few months as a certification program because I've been refining it and refining it and refining it and getting the testimonials and the case studies and making sure that I'm taking out all the bits people don't want. Because that's another thing that I would say is that we can get overexcited and jam-pack so much into our offer. And actually that just overwhelms and confuses the client. Less is more. That's a saying for a reason. I think that understanding that your client in front of you, doesn't matter who they are, but you've got a client in front of you, they are in pain. What is their pain? And create something that helps them overcome that pain. Not 10 things, one thing. Get really good at it. Then you'll become world-class. You'll deliver a first-class service. Your testimonials will be great. You can just then rely on referrals because you don't like doing marketing anyway. So get really good at one thing and then you don't have to do as much marketing.
Love it. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed talking to you. And I know that, well, I really hope that anyone listening to this is going to sit back and just like get a blank piece of paper and have a really good think about this for the next hour, because I think it could change your business. So thanks, Amanda. How can people find out about your certification and connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So go to the businessadvisoracademy.com, quite simple. And on there, click on the program and you've got loads of info about it. You are welcome. If you've looked at it and you would like to find out more and you just want to talk about it, you can book a 15-minute call with me and I will talk to you about it. And then also we've got the Business Advisor podcast. Now that's a solo podcast. I'd love to invite you guys on, but you can't because it's the Amanda Show. And what I do is 10 to 15 minutes every single week. I talk about business advisory. And what it is we can talk about how to have empathy, how to hold a conversation, how to show up, how to do it when you're scared. The one on Monday is, but what if I fail? That's what it's called, right? So it's about giving you a bit of a kick up the bum. I am a D on the disc. So yeah, go to the Business Advisor podcast or go to Business Advisor Academy. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to. But those first two URLs are the best place to go and really do a deep dive.
Lovely. Thank you so much. And thanks everyone who's tuned in today. And we'll see you next time for another episode of the Bookkeepers podcast. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for the Bookkeepers podcast. Why not join us in the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club at sixfigurebookkeeper.club or visit our website sixfigurebookkeeper.com.